Hello, wonderful viewers. A warm, heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you. I'm your storyteller, James, and I'm thrilled to have you here. May your heart always overflow with love, joy, and endless blessings. May your days shine bright, and may love find you in the most beautiful way. Today, I bring you a tale that will stir your soul, a story of deep emotions, fiery passion, and unshakable devotion. This isn't just any love story. It's a journey of two hearts defying odds to claim their forever. So stay with me until the very end, because every moment is precious, every chapter more enchanting than the last. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single heartfelt tale. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this breathtaking love story together. Matt Henry was a man of logic, a self-made millionaire with a razor-sharp mind. He ruled the business world with precision, ambition, and an unrelenting drive for success. Love? That was for dreamers. He'd watch friends stumble through relationships, their hearts broken, their judgment clouded. Matt wasn't against love. He just hadn't seen it work. So he poured everything into his empire, living a life where strategy trumped sentiment. Then came Selena Carter. She wasn't like the others. She didn't care about his wealth, his status, or his power. She was effortless, a vision of grace, her brown skin glowing, her braided hair like a crown. Her eyes held stories no words could tell. From the moment she walked in, something inside Matt shifted. Their first date was supposed to be casual, just dinner at the city's finest restaurant. But the moment she entered in that red silk gown, the world dimmed around her. The way the fabric clung to her curves, the confidence in her stride, it left him breathless. Dinner started with small talk, but soon they were lost in conversation. Family, dreams, life's deepest desires. Time slipped away. When they moved to the dance floor, the music wrapped around them like a spell. Her hands on his shoulders, his grip on her waist. Every touch sent sparks through him. For the first time, Matt wasn't thinking about deals or empires. He was thinking about her, the way she laughed, the way her gaze made him feel seen. As they swayed, he realized he didn't want the night to end. "Stay," he murmured, his voice rough with longing. Selena teased him. "One night, remember?" But the hesitation in her smile betrayed her. Matt tightened his hold. One night won't be enough. As they left, fingers entwined, an unfamiliar ache settled in his chest. This wasn't just attraction, it was something deeper, something that terrified him. Selena expected a polite goodbye. Instead, Matt cupped her face, his thumb tracing her jaw. "I don't want this to end," he confessed, his voice raw. Then he kissed her. It wasn't just a kiss, it was a surrender, a silent promise. Her fingers curled into his jacket, pulling him closer as the world faded away. When they finally broke apart, his eyes burned with something primal. "Come with me," he whispered. The plea in his voice undid her. Inside his penthouse, the city lights painted them in gold. His touch was fire, his kisses a slow, deliberate worship. "Are you sure?" she breathed. His answer was another searing kiss, his hands mapping her body like a man memorizing paradise. Time lost meaning. There was only them, tangled in sheets, lost in each other. As dawn broke, Selena lay against his chest, his heartbeat steady beneath her ear. Matt pressed a kiss to her forehead, his voice rough with emotion. "I don't think I can let you go." And just like that, one night rewrote their destinies. The words lingered in the quiet room, thick with unspoken promises. Selena's pulse quickened at the raw vulnerability in his voice. She'd never imagined this. Not the tangled sheets, not the way his arms held her like she was something precious, and certainly not the way her own heart refused to let go. The connection between them hummed in the space between their bodies, undeniable as dawn. Selena had always been cautious with her heart, yet here she was, defenses shattered by a man who'd unraveled her with a single night. No words could capture the storm inside her, only the certainty that walking away would leave her hollow. Sunlight spilled through the penthouse windows, gilding their bare skin. Matt watched her sleep, her braids fanned across his pillow like dark silk. She belonged here, in his world, in his bed. Yet she was more than a fleeting moment. She was a revelation. For a man who'd built his life on logic, this felt like freefall. Wealth, power, none of it compared to the quiet awe of her steady breath against his chest. She stirred, lashes fluttering open. His throat tightened when her sleep-soft gaze met his. "Good morning, beautiful." His lips brushed her shoulder, a whisper of possession. Selena bit her lip, hesitation flickering, until his hand cradled her face, forcing her to see the truth in his eyes. "I meant what I said," he murmured. "I don't want this to end." The air between them crackled. Selena's pulse roared in her ears. This wasn't just passion, it was a precipice. And when he kissed her again, she let herself fall. The name glared from her phone, dragging Selena violently from the warm cocoon of Matt's embrace. A familiar rush of nostalgia tightened her chest, until she saw Matt's expression, his jaw clenched. The hand that had been tracing lazy circles on her back now fisted the sheets. The air between them turned to ice. "Who is he?" Matt's voice was dangerously calm, but his eyes burned with something primal. Selena's throat went dry. This wasn't possessive anger. This was the look of a man who'd finally found something precious, only to see it threatened. The phone kept ringing. She reached to silence it, but Matt caught her wrist. Not roughly, not gently, a silent demand for truth. "Answer it." Her pulse hammered. If she picked up, she'd hear that laugh, the one that used to make her weak. But now it would shatter the fragile new world she'd built with Matt. The mattress shifted as Matt sat up, his bare back to her. The scars she'd kissed last night, both physical and the ones she'd sensed beneath his billionaire armor, seemed to glare at her in accusation. "It's nothing," she whispered. A hollow laugh escaped him. "Funny. Nothing makes your hands shake." The call went to voicemail. The silence that followed was worse. Selena reached for him, then froze when he flinched. The realization hit like a bullet. Matt Henry, the untouchable tycoon, was terrified. "Look at me." She framed his face, forcing those stormy eyes to meet hers. "You want to know who he is? The man who taught me how not to be loved." Matt's breath hitched. "And you," she pressed their foreheads together, "you're the one who made me believe I deserved it." The phone rang again. This time, Matt crushed it against his lips as he kissed her, a claiming, a promise, and an apology all in one. When they broke apart, he hurled the device across the room. The satisfying crack of glass against marble echoed through the penthouse. Matt's hands trembled as he carried Selena across the threshold, their bodies pressed together, hearts pounding in perfect sync. When he laid her down, his touch burned through her, not with the desperate hunger of their first night together, but with the reverence of a man worshiping sacred ground. "Selena," he murmured against her skin, her name a prayer on his lips. Time dissolved. The outside world ceased to exist. Weeks later, their love had hardened into something unbreakable. The paparazzi's whispers, the tabloid headlines, none of it could touch them now. Matt, who once measured his worth in boardroom victories, now counted it in Selena's laughter, in the way her fingers absently traced his jaw while she read, in the sleepy murmurs she pressed into his chest at dawn. One evening, he stole her away without explanation. The city lights faded behind them as he drove into the countryside, his grip tight around her hand. "Where are we?" "You'll see." The clearing took her breath away. An ocean of stars stretched above them, the air thick with the scent of wildflowers. When Matt dropped to one knee, the velvet box in his hand catching moonlight, Selena's world tilted. "I used to think love was a lie," he said, voice rough. "Then you showed me it's the only truth." The diamond glinted, a tiny mirror of the constellations above. "Marry me. Be mine forever." Her yes was a sob, a surrender, a beginning. Their wedding day burned itself into memory. Matt stood at the altar, the ruthless billionaire who'd once commanded empires, now utterly commanded by love. When the doors opened, his breath stopped. Selena floated toward him in ivory lace, a living constellation with diamonds woven through her veil. But all Matt saw were her eyes, the same eyes that had stared up at him that first night, now filled with a promise. His vows came out raw, unscripted. I vow to love you fiercely, to be your shelter. You're my heart, my oxygen, my home. When their lips met, fireworks exploded, not just overhead, but in his chest. The honeymoon was a blur of sun-drenched sheets and whispered secrets. They left pieces of their love across continents, in the Maldives' turquoise shallows, against Rome's ancient walls, under Tokyo's neon glow. Yet Matt's favorite place remained unchanged. The curve of Selena's neck at dawn, the way her body fit against his like two halves of a sundered whole. Then the test. Selena stared at the pink lines, tears blurring her vision. Matt's reaction when she told him? The great Matt Henry, brought to his knees, his face pressed into her stomach as he wept. You've made me the happiest man alive. Now in the hospital's hushed light, Matt cradled their daughter, this tiny miracle with Selena's nose and his stubborn chin. The baby's fingers curled around his thumb, impossibly fragile, impossibly his. Across the room, Selena watched them, exhaustion and radiance warring on her face. I thought one night would be enough, Matt admitted, voice cracking. Selena smiled, her wedding ring glinting as she touched his cheek. But it wasn't. No, he agreed, kissing her softly. It was only the beginning. Their daughter sighed in his arms. Outside, the world kept turning. But here, in this perfect moment, Matt knew the truth. The penthouse nursery glowed in the soft pink light of dawn, its walls adorned with hand-painted constellations that mirrored the night Matt had proposed. Little Amelia, named after Selena's grandmother, fussed in her crib, her tiny fists waving like miniature conductors. Matt stood over her in his rumpled Oxford shirt, sleeves rolled up to reveal the faint scar from where Selena had gripped his arm during labor. Shh, little CEO, he murmured, carefully lifting the squirming bundle. His $10,000 watch caught on the hand-knit blanket Selena's mother had sent from Jamaica. Daddy's got you. 3 floors below in the spa-level bathroom, Selena stared at her reflection in the full-length onyx mirror. The changes to her body still surprised her. The silver stretch marks like lightning across her hips. The fuller curves that made her old cocktail dresses impossible. She traced the faint line down her abdomen where the emergency C-section had saved their daughter's life. The door opened without a sound. Matt's reflection appeared behind her, Amelia cradled against his chest with one arm, while the other extended a velvet box. Happy 6-month anniversary, he whispered against her bare shoulder. Inside lay a pendant, a teardrop diamond suspended within a golden moon. Like our first night, she breathed, remembering the rooftop where they'd slow danced under a crescent moon. Amelia chose that moment to spit up on Matt's Tom Ford tie. The absurdity broke the spell. They collapsed into laughter so loud it startled the baby into fresh wails. This was their new normal, equal parts magic and mayhem. Chapter 6. The Ghost of Christmas. Past. Snow swirled past the penthouse windows as Selena decorated their first family Christmas tree. Amelia, now a curious 1-year-old, sat amidst a pile of shredded wrapping paper, attempting to eat an ornament shaped like Matt's corporate headquarters. The intercom buzzed. Mr. Henry, there's a gentleman here insisting. The elevator doors opened before the doorman could finish. A blast of icy wind carried in a familiar figure. David Laurent, Selena's ex, his leather jacket dusted with snowflakes that melted onto the marble foyer. Surprise, David said, flashing the rakish smile that had once made Selena's knees weak. His gaze swept over the scene, the baby, the tree, Matt's protective stance. Heard you were in the family way. Had to see it for myself. Matt's hand found the small of Selena's back, his touch both reassurance and claim. You've got 30 seconds to state your business. David held up a battered manila envelope. Turns out our old startup shares are worth something after all. His eyes lingered on Selena's wedding ring. Thought you'd want to sign these in person? That night after David had gone and Amelia was asleep, Matt pressed Selena against the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park's winter wonderland. Tell me you're mine, he demanded between searing kisses, his usual control frayed by jealousy. Selena arched into him, her back meeting cold glass as his hands warmed her skin. Always. she gasped, watching their reflection blur as the snow fell faster outside. Only ever yours. Chapter 7. The Boardroom Coup. The boardroom smelled of expensive coffee and tension. Matt's CFO, a silver-haired viper named Grayson, leaned across the polished table. The investors are concerned, Matthew. Your focus has shifted. Matt didn't need the PowerPoint slides to understand. The missed meetings, the declined business trips, the nursery phone calls that interrupted billion-dollar negotiations. He straightened his cuffs, the platinum wedding band catching the light. Speak plainly. Grayson's smile didn't reach his eyes. They want interim leadership, just until the child is older. Across town, Selena balanced Amelia on her hip while reviewing blueprints for her new boutique hotel chain, a passion project Matt had secretly funded. Her phone buzzed with a Bloomberg alert. Henry global stock plummets amid CEO distraction. Rumors. The nanny found her vomiting in the master bathroom, not from morning sickness this time, from guilt. The firestorm, the tabloids crucified them. Billionaire baby bust, screamed one headline over photos of Matt pushing a stroller. Cinderella's costly fairy tale, mocked another, speculating Selena's hotels were draining Matt's fortune. Worst was the leaked video, private footage from their Malibu beach house, showing Matt singing Amelia to sleep. The internet dissected his off-key lullaby like a stock market report. Selena woke at 3 a.m. to find Matt's side of the bed empty. She found him in the nursery, Amelia asleep against his chest as he typed one-handed on his laptop. Financial models glowed on the screen, a complete restructuring plan. I won't let them take us down, he said without looking up. There was something terrifying in his calmness, the same focus he'd once used to crush competitors. The reckoning. The emergency board meeting became Wall Street legend. Matt arrived with Amelia in a baby carrier and Selena on his arm. For 3 hours, he systematically dismantled Grayson's arguments while bouncing his daughter. You call this distraction? Matt threw open the balcony doors, revealing the construction site across the street, Selena's flagship hotel, already 80% leased to Fortune 500 companies. That's the Henry Global diversification strategy you voted for last quarter. When Grayson tried to interrupt, Amelia chose that moment to blow raspberries. The room erupted in laughter. By meeting's end, Matt had not only kept his position, but secured paternity leave policies for all executives. That night, they celebrated in the hotel's unfinished penthouse suite. Matt spread Selena across the raw concrete floor, her moans echoing through the empty space as the city lights painted their skin. This is ours, he growled, thrusting deeper. All of it. The second line, Amelia was 4 when her brother came screaming into the world, a robust boy with Matt's stormy eyes and Selena's stubborn chin. They named him Elijah, after Matt's father. The delivery room smelled of antiseptic and the gardenias Matt had smuggled in. Selena, exhausted but radiant, watched as Matt cradled their son with the same awe as the first time. Amelia climbed carefully onto the bed, her tiny fingers stroking Elijah's cheek. He's wrinkly like Grandpa, she announced. Matt's phone buzzed. Another merger proposal. He silenced it without looking, pressing a kiss to Selena's sweaty forehead. Nothing is more important than this. Outside, spring blossoms drifted past the hospital window. Somewhere in the city, their hotels thrived. Henry Global stocks soared, and paparazzi still lurked. But here, in this quiet room with their children's breaths mingling and Selena's hand in his, Matt had found the only empire that mattered. Epilogue, 5 years later. The private island smelled of salt and frangipani. Selena adjusted her sundress as she watched Matt teach Amelia to snorkel in the lagoon, their laughter carrying over the waves. Elijah napped in the shaded cabana, his chubby fingers still clutching the seashell Matt had given him. Her phone buzzed, a notification from the charity foundation they'd started for single mothers. Another 10 families housed this month. She silenced it, turning instead to the leather-bound journal where she kept their story. This love would never end.